What you mean by constraint by term?
Limitation or problem.
Limitations or restrictions. We can call constraints as restrictions that we are going to set for any task. Okay, for the dates, particularly the start date or end date. End date in the sense finish dates. So we have some kind of constraints, so that we will see. So we have flexible constraint and also we have inflexible constraint and we also have semi-flexible constraint. Okay, these are the three types of constraints. First we will see like what are all the flexible constraints. So flexible constraints we have some as soon as possible. So this is something called flexible constraint. We no need to put any date or any restriction. As soon as possible in the sense it will take care as soon as possible. Okay, and we also have like as late as possible. As late as possible. This is for a start and this is for a finish date. So normally like we will be telling as soon as possible we need to start any task. Okay, and then we need to put as late as possible sometimes for finish date also if you want. Okay, even there is no nothing to select for dates for as late as possible also. It will take care by itself. No need for restriction, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So flexible we have, inflexible we will see now. So must start on. Okay, we need to start some particular task on particular date. Must start on. Okay. And we also have must finish on. It is going so we need to click here and then check before. Must finish on. This is for start and this is for end. Okay. And semi-flexible we have some four constraints. So first one is SNET, which means start no earlier than, and then start no later than, and then same for finish no earlier than, and then finish no later than. So semi-flexible constraint we need to put some date. Even for inflexible constraints we need to put some particular date. So based on the date it will take care. Must start on we are going to put some date. Then it will start that particular activity on the particular date. Must finish on we need to put some date and it will take care of that particular task. So these things we will see in the project, then we will know what it is.
These are basically conditions.
Conditions or restriction. Okay.
So, I mean, how will apply this in the project? Like,
That we will see now with one good example. And we can also call this as like a hard constraint. Inflexible constraints we can call it as hard constraint. Semi-flexible we can call it as a moderate constraint. Or semi-flexible we can call it as soft constraints also. We have the little bit flexible also. Okay, I will consider some small project as usual. So auto schedule. Now immediately by default it is taking us 1 day and question mark. This is like estimated duration. That is what we have in the settings. Okay, now I am just going to put a, and as usual I am going to link finish to start. Okay, so predecessor it will come automatically. Okay, now if you want to put constraint for particular task, what you need to do means like go to, so just to go to task and then property we have information.
okay.
So this you can just double click also it will come. Okay, and here you have the predecessor, successor, or for example you have predecessor here and I'm just clicking the other one. So double click it. So predecessor tab we have,
Yeah.
and we have the type and then lags, and in general we have this kind of things. In advanced, so in advanced tab we have the constraint type.
Okay.
Okay, so here I am just going for constraint type, and now I am just going to put this one as must start on. So must start on, and then we need to select the constraint date.
Okay.
So we need to choose like which date it is going to start. Before that it is going to start on 19th March.
Marks.
So but I'm going to select like a 22nd.
Okay.
Okay, what it will happen, it will move the project to that particular dates.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just going to click OK now. See, you set a must start and constraint on the task B. This could result in a scheduling conflict either now or later because this task has at least one other task linked to it. And based on the message you can take action. Cancel, no constraint will be applied. Continue, but avoid the conflict by using a start no earlier than. This is also like useful. Otherwise continue, a must start and constraint will be set for the whole. I'm going to select the third one and then click OK. It will move the
Yeah.
entire project by the particular date. If now I'm just going to put a must finish on, so once you put must start on, right, you also getting the indicator. So that indicator you can able to keep the cursor over there and it will show you the constraint. Even the date also it is showing. Okay. So if I'm just going here and then I'm just going for must finish on, and then I'm just going to select the date, but here it is like a 21st April, right? I'm just going to choose something before. I'm just going to choose 16 and then click OK. Now I'm just going to select the same. See, this action will cause a scheduling conflict. Task 4 of project 1 has a task constraint or is linked to a task that cannot move, and as a result the constraint or the link cannot be set. And you can put continue allow the scheduling conflict or cancel. We will see how it will be continue allow the scheduling conflict. See, now it is like going to end by 16 only, but we will be, so now we have the end date as 16 only, but the indicator we have like must finish on indicator, and we have the scheduling conflicts now. See, now it moved like this. There's no logic behind it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to remove the constraint, again you can just go to advanced and you can just put the as soon as possible. By default we will be having as soon as possible only, and constraint date no need to select for as soon as possible. So this is automatically going for as soon as possible, and this is also like I am going to choose as soon as possible. By default we will be having as soon as possible. Now everything remains the same. See, for example, for this I am just going to take a start no earlier than, and I am just going to put a 31st March, right? I am going to put some April dates. April 5, I am just going to put click OK. This is like a semi-flexible constraint. And then click OK. See, it is automatically start no earlier than, right? Based on the logic, it will start after that particular date. Okay. For example, this one, I am just going to put a uh, finish no later than, and I'm just going to select some date, but which date? 30 March here. I'm just going to put April 2 and then click OK. And you can also use the second option, but avoid the conflict by using a finish no earlier than constraint instead. Now there is no schedule issue, and also it is like a changing the constraint to the desired constraint. I put finish no later than, but it is considering finish no earlier than. See, that is like avoid constraint. So this kind of things. Normally try to avoid constraints. That could be better to avoid a confusion. Because for big projects, like if you are putting more constraints, and it will be headache for us. And
So
also
the constraints are used when
when
task lists are very big.
no, not only for that. If we
Because
can
even we can adjust that in the start date and end date other than
manually also,
I
na.
mean, yeah, other than putting constraints. Right?
Yeah, but we will be having like once we scheduled now, we will be having some particular dates. And if any delay in some other task, we need to put must finish on constraint to the rest of the task. It depends upon the complexity of the project also,
Yeah.
and the real life things also. But normally, even in PMI, they used to say this one. To avoid confusion, to avoid conflicts, try to reduce constraints as much as possible. They are not telling to avoid constraints. They are trying to say as like try to avoid constraints as much as possible. But we can have a little bit constraints. If you have all the task constraints, then it is like a big confusion for the software also.
Yeah.
Still, it is not having brain. At least we have a brain. What we are inputting there, it is going to give us the output, right?
Yeah.
And it will confuse and it will create conflicts.